Okay, ladies and gents, we live. What up? It's your favorite Asian robot, hopefully your favorite DarkTide partner. Today, I'm here to talk about the state of Darktide, as well as what to expect in the near future. A dev blog was just released, where they will be doing a deep dive into the Shrine of the Omnissiah. Alright? But mainly what it covers is the upcoming changes to the crafting, weapon acquisition system, things like that. Fatshark is listening to the players. At the very least, a lot of people might say too little too late, but honestly they are listening, so I'm willing to give them some benefit of the doubt. Alright, but let's also, before we get into this, let's also cover the current state of Darktide. Where is Darktide right now? Okay, I have actually pulled up the Steam chart right here. Alright, and we're gonna take a good look at it because I think it is important to analyze and understand. Alright, if we look all the way back, all right, let's go all the way back to December. Player numbers in December were in the 40 to 20,000s, all right? But it rapidly fell off toward the start of January. Why? Because during this period, the devs were on leave, and we have repeatedly cited that this was a major mistake. This was a major problem that they should never have done, especially considering that they were launching a game. So there was a lot of radio silence up till about January 16th. At that point, you know, the situation was more than a little bit unsalvageable. During this period, I was very closely following the Steam chart numbers, and quite frankly, I knew that this 10K would be unsustainable. Unfortunately, my worries were confirmed much later on. Although they were releasing patches, changes, stuff like that, it was considered too little too late. Player numbers kept falling up until the current amount. Right now, they're actually stabilizing around the 4K mark. I would love to say 5K, but 5K is kind of the peak. They've actually been stabilizing around the 4K mark. And if we look at a weekend-on-weekend comparison, just as a quick one, last weekend was the 4th and the 28th and the 21st. All right, so let's go all the way back there. Weekend-on-weekend comparison. By the time 21st Jan had rolled around, we were seeing peaks of 10K, all right, but this would rapidly fall by the next weekend. You know, we were seeing peaks of 8K, and then by the time of the 4th, all right, even though it was the weekend, the peaks only hit about 6.9K, and now it's dwindling and it's dropped to about around the 4K. In comparison to Vermintide, which has been out for quite some time, let me just quickly show you that as well. Darktide is having roughly the same player base. All right. Overall, this is not healthy, but at the same time, they are trying to make changes. And one thing which I will state is that these changes are not going to bring players back, but hopefully they can introduce new players into the system. All right, that ultimately is what we want right now. We want fresh blood, new blood, but there is no doubt that there are a lot of negative reviews on Steam. Some of my friends themselves have posted negative reviews. They cannot recommend the game in the current state. I myself am holding off on recommendations for now, but I do want to see the game grow, change, and evolve. All right. So now let's take a look at the dev blog. Now that we know the current state of Darktide, where it's at, how is it going to move forward from here? All right. To be honest, I think they're making some positive changes. I'm going to go through them with you. All right. Now, I'm going to read this with you and also comment on some of the things that are being said. Now, before Darktide's launch date, they brought out an update on the different features that they were working on for the game's crafting systems. The functionality of these crafting features was completed in December, and internally they began to playtest how they functioned, felt, and fit within the game. This led the team to identify key issues with their features surrounding blessings, all right, i.e. the earn blessing, fuse, combine blessing, and rebless, and they were not happy with releasing the features to the players in their current state. They're going to explain further why they arrived at this decision. It was because they received feedback from the players, and you know, this is why I say feedback matters. You got to give a game time, but feedback matters as well. All right. One of the loudest feedback points they saw exposed the issues in their acquisition methods for items, which we talked about, and I also talked about in my video, RNG is killing DarkTide. They identified that item acquisition issues would be further compounded by blessing and crafting features that they intended to implement, and it would basically result in a frustrating RNG grind for the players. So they've decided to hold back the additional crafting functionality while they revisit the whole system, and now they are finally confident in the direction they want to take. All right. How will it change going forward? Well, in Vermintide, items were rewarded from chests and crafting of blueprints, right? They wanted to create a different system here. All right. So coming forward, when it comes to the equipment in DarkTide, right, they decided to go with a different direction for the items that characters will choose to equip. They wanted each weapon and curio that players find in DarkTide to have a distinctive difference of potential within them. The foundation they set with modifiers, perks, and blessings changes how each weapon can potentially perform. The combination of these offers an exciting array of variety, and they want players to continue acquiring many variations in pursuit of build diversity, all right? But this build potential, while it exists today, needs to be more easily satisfied. So what they're actually doing is that they've acknowledged the feedback of players who desire further agency within the Armoury Exchange. This is something we've talked about several times. I've talked about this in comments several times with several players. All right, they'll be releasing a new feature in the Armoury Exchange where players can acquire any weapon type, okay, that has been unlocked by achieving the minimum level required. This will be available in the next patch to DarkTide. So if you take a look here, let's say you want to acquire the Force Sword, you can just go straight away and get yourself a Force Sword. All right, it'll be at profane quality, profane rarity, right? And after you upgrade it enough, you can get it back to Transcendent. Of course, it's going to require materials, but basically you can choose to roll as many of whatever items you want and upgrade them along the way. However, this means that even if you've never, like, let's say you've already unlocked the Thunder Hammer, there's no Thunder Hammer in the store, you don't want to wait for a random one, you can straight away pick up a Thunder Hammer. All right. What they're also going to do, all right, and the other stuff complements this. I know this is not what everyone was hoping for, but this sets a baseline, and I'll explain that later on when we delve more into the crafting system. I've already read this whole thing, but I will explain how this is going to work together with the other systems to potentially create a better and more workable system for everybody. Okay. What they're going to do is they're also going to improve the selection of items in the hourly catalog in both base item rating range and their potential. All right, so this is another important thing. So the store is going to be improved overall, and you'll also be able to acquire whatever the hell weapon you want. Okay, although it'll only be a profane quality. Now, further changes to item acquisition. The Emperor's Gift, which was received occasionally, will now be granted upon every mission completion without any limit. So every time you complete a mission, you're going to get your Emperor's Gift. All right. In addition to this, the Emperor's Gift is going to be influenced by several factors: the difficulty of the chosen mission and the conditions and the side missions completed. This will give you guys an incentive to be playing Heresy and Damnation. You want the best weapons? Heresy and Damnation is the way to go. I want to see more players in this type of mission, and you guys are going to have to learn not to use the copium of Malice missions. All right, because Malice missions are straight up too easy. All right, you can literally go in there with anything and still function well. Heresy and Damnation are the name of the games, and if you've got additional, like for example, side conditions, high intensity, whatnot, side missions as well, completing those will help you influence your Emperor's Gifts. All right, at least that is what they're saying for now. What I'm going to be testing is doing a baseline mission with nothing and seeing what kind of quality we get from those. Then after that, we'll start completing side missions and see how much the improvement actually is. All right. Sire Melk's Requisitorium is also going to be changed. They are going to be reducing the amount of work that each contract asks of players, which is something big that players have talked about. The weeklies take too long, and if you've got 4 characters, that is way too much work. All right, they'll be increasing the amount of rewards we receive per contract, and the collection of grimoires and scriptures will be collapsed into a single contract as well. All right, and they'll also add some new contracts for collecting plasteel, diamantine, all that stuff. They'll be improving the quality of the weapons offered by Sire Melk, so hopefully that is a good change as well. I really want to see the best of the best offered by Sire Milk. Because if it's a random once per day thing, then we need a reason to log in and check. All right. Now, crafting. Shortly after the winter break, they reevaluated the direction that they were going in when it comes to crafting. All right. And they've decided that now that they've understood their future direction, all right, what they want to do is change the way that blessings are going to work. Rather than the whole fuse combined bullshit of requiring 3 blessings, all that, but no, enough. What they're going to do now is that they're going to allow you to, like, for example, let's say you get a weapon, right, with one particular blessing. You can surrender that weapon, and this will be covered if you read the full thing, all right, and you'll be able to permanently re-bless a weapon with that particular blessing, all right? This way you can try out different builds, switch out your blessings as needed, adjust, adapt, overcome, whatever you need to do. This is what is going to make that whole profane upgrading thing, because, for example, let's say you've got a lot of spare materials. You grab a profane weapon, you upgrade it all the way. Let's say it gets one good blessing, one really bad blessing. You can swap the really bad blessing. You can swap one of the perks, and that can allow you to achieve one of the strongest items with an insane base rating. You can spam your dark hits until you get an item with a good base rating, stuff like that. This is my idea, and then you can keep farming missions to get, let's say, a blessing that you want. You surrender that weapon, you unlock the blessing for real, you put it in, and then boom, you're good to go. All right. In terms of the re-bless, all right, players can choose to replace a single blessing on the weapon with a blessing of choice that they've earned the right to use. How do you earn the right to use this? You will surrender the entire weapon to Hadron. You will lose the weapon, but players can select a blessing to earn the right to permanently re-bless other weapons with the earned blessing. Blessings are shared across different weapon marks of the same weapon type. This is a key statement, okay? There is positive and negative to this one statement, which is the only area of feedback I have with this. I really cannot stress enough that this is going to be a very annoying thing. Blessings are shared across different weapon marks of the same weapon type. Does this mean that I'm going to have to earn an Infernus blessing on my Hellbore lasgun and on my Recon lasgun? Because that's what it's telling me right now. This is what this statement is saying. And this is the only thing I disagree with. No. If an Infernus blessing can be placed on the Hellbore and can be placed on the Recon lasgun, there should be no difference between that Infernus blessing. Surrendering a Hellbore or surrendering a Recon lasgun should immediately grant me the right to Infernus. Why? Because some people have been searching for Deflector on the Force Sword. Some people have been searching. Now, there's nothing else with Deflector, so fair enough. Sorry, that's a bad example. People have been searching for Infernus on the Recon lasgun for ages. They have it on their Hellbore, or they have it on their Cantrail. If the blessing is on different weapon types with different marks, whatever, let us have it. Let us have it. Okay, don't do this separation. That's the only feedback I have. This is something I'll be putting in the creator Discord as well. Other than that, I am satisfied with the rest of these potential changes. And also what I want to highlight to you guys is that some of y'all are still hoping for subclasses from data mine info. Listen, they're focusing on other stuff right now. This is why I don't do data mine info. If you guys really want to see what's coming up, wait until the devs say what's coming up. This is why they don't have a roadmap for this stuff yet, because they cannot commit to any of that just yet. It's a problem, but at the same time, you know, I can understand it. This is why stop worrying about data mined info. Let's take a look at what's actually coming. Right now, I want to hear your thoughts. If you've watched this the whole way through, you've heard what I have to say. Give me your thoughts. Tell me what you think of these upcoming changes. Is it enough to bring you back to the game? That's what I want to hear right now. Are you coming back to the game, or are you going to hold and wait a little longer? All right. I want to hear from you. Leave a comment. And for everyone else, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching this. I know that it's been like a couple of update vids over a couple of days. I haven't even had time to post the trauma build, the new Psyker build yet, but I will be doing that ASAP. I'll also be testing the veteran in a couple of streams, zealot, all that stuff. All that is coming as well. I am sort of like rolling as much work as I can into one. But thank you so much for watching this video. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. If you can get this to 100 likes, I'll be very happy. Thank you very much for supporting my content. I will see you guys on the next one. I want to hear your thoughts. Comment. I need them. All right. I need them so I can bring that, all right, to the people that need to hear it. I'll catch you on the next one.